Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all our witnesses for being here. And certainly as I look around this committee room, I imagine that probably more than half of us have participated in that mortgage loan closing process. And we've sifted through the hundreds of pages and provided countless signatures because we want part of that American dream. To be a home buyer and to own a home. As you heard from me earlier, I've heard from my realtors, and they don't want to necessarily change or challenge it. They just want that home, that hold harmless period. They've expressed to me that a possible gridlock on the transactions could occur if the rules are implemented before they're given a chance to fully understand them, to come in compliance, to be trained. Ms. Lohman, can you walk me through a closing process under CFPB's TILA RESPA disclosures and highlight what you anticipate could cause hiccups in the mortgage loan process?
From what we understand, the biggest changes that are being proposed for the August 1st new rules has to do with the lockdown of the transaction 3 days prior to the loan closing. The lender is at 100% liability for what's on that closing disclosure. For those of you who have bought a home, you'll know that in a lot of cases, there are numbers that are changing within hours before the closing. That can't happen anymore. If something is to change, it stops the closing and pushes it back out 3 more days at minimum. So those are the concerns we have in working with our partners, the realtor community and ALTA groups, that we are 100% responsible. So therefore, we're going to have to lock that document down.
Okay. Mr. Polychrome, in Ms. Goodman's written testimony, she stated that without a hold harmless period or a grace period, the severe consequences for errors under the TILA RESPA may cause lenders to reduce originations or ultimately harming the borrower as it was designed to help. Do you agree with this assessment?
I do agree with it, and in this period, we certainly don't need fewer lenders making money. I mean, our inventory, our loan process is difficult enough right now with credit scores, et cetera, to put this extra burden upon it.
Ms. Evans or Ms. Goodman, can you comment on what the grace period from CFPB's TILA RESPA disclosures based on good faith compliance efforts would allow realtors to accomplish?
What it allows is for everyone in the real estate transaction, all the real estate professionals, to really work through real-life transactions to understand where there might be bumps in the road, where there might be delays that would cause a home buyer concern, and also recognize that we can work out those systems without the fear of any kind of enforcement or penalty.
Just to elaborate a little bit more, you know, it's important to realize, as Ms. Lohman said, the systems are just being delivered now. In many cases, they still have to be integrated with loan origination systems. So, and in many cases, either you can't do certain products or there's a heavy manual feature. So the possibility of errors is very, very large in the early months on all sides. And giving and in addition, there are parts of the CFPB rules that are a little bit unclear. And this just gives you time to both clarify and work out and test the systems bugs. It's really, really important to get this done.
And lastly, since your customers are our constituents, let's just assume this doesn't happen. You're not given the grace period or the hold harmless. What happens to me as that home buyer coming in?
The idea would that you would sense nothing is happening to you, because we're still trying to deliver a mortgage to you for your home purchase. The risk is that after 50 years in the combination of RESPA and TILA, there now is civil penalties that are going to go along with mistakes. In my world, working with my regulator, if I make 3 errors in a row, that's considered pattern and practice, and I can be fined for that. Those are the risks to my business, not to the customer, but to my business, and ultimately then to my customer if we can no longer operate efficiently and have to change those costs for our customers.
Thank you.
Thank you.